time to be a hero. Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am Comic Hero. Now, before I go on with the show, right after episode 57 got done last week, Clint gave me $12. I asked him what was the $12 for it. He says he wanted a shirt. So, that being said, Clint, I'm going to present you with your very own Comic Hero tee.
That's totally awesome. Comic Hero. Yeah.
That's right, folks. And if you want a tee, it is $10 in a blank tee, or if you want me to buy a tee, it's $12. And for children, it is $5 in a blank tee, and if you want me to buy their shirt, it's $7. All right, then. I gotta ask. Any questions? I have two questions for this week, and the first one is for Marty Willis, who actually, I don't know where he's from, but I know that he asked me a question on YouTube after he watched episode 56. And his question is, what are your feelings on the whole Superman Wonder Woman deal? Just saw Throne of Atlantis. Okay, DC movie. Animated movies have always been better than live action for some reason. Anyway, the wife wasn't happy with the big kiss. I tried to explain it to two gods not having anyone else. Do you think that DC going in the right direction to stir up more reasons, or is there something in the story? Not a major fan of it myself. Well, Marty, to tell that would have to go back. I would have to go back to 2011. In the summer. And folks, Clint just put on the Comic Hero tee. Clint Thomas, you were awesome. Okay. In the summer of 2011, there was this event that happened. It was a mini-series in DC called Flashpoint, where everything got altered because Barry Allen always wondered what life would have been like for him if his mother wasn't murdered by Professor Zoom. Well, he found out, and let's just say he didn't become the Flash, and that Professor Zoom was the Flash. And not only that, Bruce Wayne didn't become Batman. His father, Dr. Thomas Wayne, did. And then Superman, when he landed on Earth, he wasn't found by Jonathan and Martha Kent. Oh no, he was found by some scientists who had this underground lab, and they kept him incubated in some kind of they had him incubated inside of a red sun activator. And well, anyway, Barry Allen ended up altering things back to, probably not back to the way they were, but it was kind of altered, and thus creating the New 52. Now the New 52, what differs with the New 52 is that, well, Superman isn't dating Lois. As a matter of fact, he's not even married to Lois. And Wonder Woman, and they start, after they form the Justice League, they start forming this chemistry. And that's where the big kiss came from. And so that's why that's why Warner Brothers incorporated that in the Justice League Throne of Atlantis movie. Because it actually happened during the story arc in the pages of Justice League. Now, I'm not really a fan of it myself, because I was always a fan of the Superman and Lois's marriage, because it worked. Now, most times you would see, like, Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane Watson, it really didn't work. Because there was always friction. Whereas Lois was the good wife. And she knew that, Clark was Superman. She was fine with it. She was so fine with it that she was very good about keeping it a secret. She kept it low-key for years, folks. But the one thing I really don't like about the whole relationship thing with Superman and Wonder Woman is that Wonder Woman tends to force things on Superman. You have to think, Superman's a bit of a more private person, whereas Wonder Woman is an outgoing person. So that's where that came from. But I'm with you, Marty. I'm not a fan of it either. Okay, this next question comes from Brian Ferguson from Wake Forest, North Carolina. He asks, who would win in a tag team match between Hellboy and Spawn versus Green Lantern and The Thing? Oh boy, I would definitely say Hellboy and Spawn hands down, because you have to think about it. These two are demons. Whereas Green Lantern, and although I really don't know, although you really weren't specific about which Green Lantern it was, because there's like a gazillion of them. But I'll just say Green Lantern in general is nothing more than an intergalactic cop. And then you have to think, The Thing. It wouldn't, I'm telling you, it wouldn't last 3 seconds. It would be Hellboy and Spawn. I mean, I don't think they're going to, they're probably going to do it not as much as Rocket Raccoon would when he shoots people and say, bang, you're dead. No. He'd just say, bah, and they'd be dead. So definitely Hellboy and Spawn. Alright, that's it for comically speaking. Oh, not comically speaking, I'm sorry, folks. That's it for any questions. If you have any questions, any at all, there's the contact information right down there. Or if you see me, or if you have my cell phone number, let me know. Alright, up next is Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to talk about is what's going on in the pages of Avengers and New Avengers. It's pretty much regular, a core Avengers team and the Avengers world versus the Illuminati Avengers versus S.H.I.E.L.D. versus the Cabal versus Doctor Doom, Molecule Man, and the Mad Thinker. And I tell you, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. And all these issues that I'm reading, and I'm just getting caught up with them, are preludes to Secret Wars, which is starting in Marvel next month. And we found out a lot of things. First off, Sunspot, a.k.a. Ramona DaCosta, buys Hydra. And Susan Richards, a.k.a. the Invisible Woman, becomes a member of S.H.I.E.L.D. And also, Thor, or he's like to be called nowadays, Odin's son, ends up carrying this hammer. That looks like Mjolnir, but it's not. On the hammer it says, "He who wields this hammer and deems himself unworthy, not worthy, but unworthy, shall possess the power of Thor." Now, this Thor, it's not one R, it's two R's. Thorr. And all of a sudden, he grabs the hammer and he transforms into this. He looks like half Thor, half Destroyer, if you will. And this is like complete beast mode Thor. But Also, Avengers and New Avengers are going to be the two books that are going to be ending next month in Marvel during Secret Wars. And also, speaking of Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron is coming out in 2 weeks. I'm very excited about it. But the one thing that I'm a little upset about is Marvel's tendency of wanting to release all these clips weeks before the movie comes out. I mean, don't do that, Marvel. I mean, I'm so excited to see it that I'm avoiding the temptation of wanting to watch it. Because one thing about me, when it comes to movies like this, I like to be surprised. I like to, I don't like to see clips of it. I only allow myself one thing to, when I go out to see a movie, when I want to see a movie, before it comes out. Before it comes out, I'll allow myself to see one trailer and one clip. That's it. No more. So, I said that to say this. I mean, if they're going to keep doing this, they might as well release Avengers Age of Ultron directly to DVD. I mean, this really makes no sense. Well, you know, I don't know if I guess it's me. I don't know. But anyway, I just read Convergence #1, and that being I told you about that all those Ray X born to make in Convergence #0 calls himself Telos. And what he does, and he's pretty much said, okay, he's going to take all the heroes from all over the DC multiverse, and he's going to say, okay, here's the thing, y'all are to fight each other. If you lose, your planet dies. If you try to fight against me, you will suffer and your people will die. So really, it's a loss scenario for the multiverse. And I just read Convergence Superman #1, and you're right. Superman and Lois are expecting their first child. But then the Superman from the Flashpoint Earth had decided, okay, I need to find Lois. I need to find her. So he ends up finding her. He's so glad to see you. You're all I need, and all this other stuff. And then next thing you know, he tries to rip. I think he's there to kill Lois's unborn child. As to why, I really don't know. But we'll find out in Superman I keep saying it backwards, but Convergence Superman #2, which comes out next month. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. So then, let's get to the comics I bought this week.
Comic books I bought this week.
All right, first up is Legendary Star-Lord #11. Well, yeah, #11. This is chapter 12 of the Black Vortex story arc that's going on in all the Guardians of the Galaxy, all new X-Men and Nova books. And I'm still a little, as a matter of fact, I haven't even started reading anything Black Vortex yet. I'm still trying to get caught up with other books. And not only other books, but some of the other things I do is that, I go to work, I read comics, I buy t-shirts, I make t-shirts, I plan for every episode, but I will get started by this week, I promise you. Alright, up next is Nova #29. This is the first issue of Nova after the Black Vortex, and the last issue I actually bought was, read rather, is #27, and and in #27, Sam Alexander finds out that he gets reinstated into Carefree High School when he was originally expelled for missing too many days. Well, when you're a superhero, that's what happens. You miss too many days, and then the principal gives you the axe. All right, up next is Uncanny X-Men #33. The last issue of Uncanny X-Men that I read was #30, and a lot of interesting things have been happening in this book. Like for example, one of the newer recruits, Eva Bell, went back and found out that she can go back in time with her powers. And what does she do? She goes back to the Xavier Institute and brings Professor X back with her. Yeah, I mean, it's already bad enough that the 5 original X-Men are currently in the regular Marvel universe. Now Alright, up next is Convergence Superboy #1. Now, I've been a huge fan of this Superboy ever since he first came on the scene during the reign of the Superman story arc back in 1993. And what this Superboy does, he has powers similar to Superman. The only difference is he has tactile telekinesis. And they're going back to, I guess the character design they're going to use with this one isn't going to be the previous one in the original DC universe, but his first one. And I think he's going to be going up against the Earth 2 Superman. Uh-oh. I guess the Earth 2 Superman thing, it must be mistaking him for Superboy Prime, because in Infinite Crisis, this miniseries that came out back in 2005 and 2006, Superboy Prime ends up beating Superman to death. Next up is Superior Iron Man #7. Now, let me keep you up to speed of what's been going on with this Tony. All right, Tony Stark has gone back to the way he was, this big spending alcohol drinking playboy, and he moves to San Francisco, and he ends up giving all the people in San Francisco a free trial of the Extremis virus. Now, it temporarily gives them all right. Here's the thing: anyone who lives in San Francisco who is ugly, if they get the Extremis, they start looking fabulous. But then they all raise a bunch of holy sand, all because, after all, it's a trial version of it. And in order to get an unlimited version of Extremis, they have to give up an arm and a leg and a few vital organs. Not only that, but he also befriends a gamma-powered teenager that calls himself Kid Abomination. Up next is Thor #7. Now, you can pretty much, this cover pretty much says all, folks. This is the new Thor versus the Destroyer. Now, we still don't know who this Thor is. I'm up to speed with this. I mean, I've caught up with this one. I'm anticipating reading this because guess what happens next month? We get to find out who the identity of this new Thor is. And I thought, you know, for the longest time, I thought it was Frasier, the All Mother. No, it isn't. It's somebody, but it's not her. And then I started thinking it was Dr. Jane Foster. Well, no, it's not, because she's still dying of cancer. But hey, she may be keeping it. Hey, she still might be her. You never know. Next up is Hulk #14. I am so ready to read this. After reading the last issue, Doc Green versus Red Hulk, round 2. It's on. That's all I gotta say. And will Doc Green finally be able to cure the Red Hulk of the gamma radiation altering his genetic makeup? We'll find out here. All right, up next is Convergence #2. Now, I just read #1, and it's pretty much going to be Earth versus Earth, to the point where there is going to be no more multiverse. There's only going to be one singular Earth, one singular universe. And this one, the Batman from the previous Batman, or Batman from the original DC universe, goes up against his own father, Dr. Thomas Wayne, who was the Batman in the Flashpoint universe. Oh boy. And then lastly, Convergence Green Lantern Parallax #1. Now this one stars Kyle Rayner as the Green Lantern from the previous DC universe, and Hal Jordan as Parallax from the previous DC universe. And I can't wait to read this because ever since I was in junior high and high school, I've always been a fan of Kyle Rayner. I mean, in terms of being the Green Lantern. And
Hal Jordan rocks, though.
yes, he does. Hal Jordan is, although I like Kyle Rayner, I think Hal Jordan is the best Green Lantern of all the Green Lanterns on Earth. I agree. And I'm not saying this to be brown nosing. I'm saying this because it's the truth.
It is the truth.
That's right.
And there's John Stewart, who rocks as well.
That's right. Guy Gardner.
Coming by.
All right. All right, that's not a bought, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 6,747. Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. I mean, I always enjoy doing it. I enjoy it more doing it right here at Clint's Comics. And I'm saying that I'm going to say this not just for my benefit, but for the benefit of this store. Come here. Come here, buy some comics. Buy all these great card games you see down here. I mean, I tell you, you won't be disappointed when you come in, and you definitely won't be disappointed when you leave. Now, you see this Comic Hero T-shirt that I have? This is a camouflage one that I made back in 2013, and it's a camouflage one. Although my family calls it the Duck Dynasty themed Comic Hero T, although I wasn't thinking about that. So if you're a member of the Robertson family or anyone that works for Duck Commander or anything, happy. But if you want your own Comic Hero tee, the prices for them for adults are $10 in a blank tee, or $12 if you want me to buy the tee. And for children, I also make shirts for children. They are $5 in a blank tee, or $7 if you want me to buy the tee. And I'm really pumped for two reasons. One, actually three reasons. One, Avengers Age of Ultron comes out in 2 weeks. Two, I'm not too far away from 7,000 comics, folks. I mean, right now I have 6747 right now, but 700. It'll be at least near the end of the year or the beginning of 2016 when I get to that. And the third, every comic book nerd, the holiday for all comic book nerds everywhere. Free Comic Book Day. It's May 2nd, which is the day after Avengers Age of Ultron comes out. And you can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to be right here. And oh, by the way, I'm also going to be doing another episode of the Comic Hero Show here at Clint's Comics on Free Comic Book Day, May 2nd. So, and I know that there's going to be a whole slew of people over here. Do what? Oh yeah, there's going to be a whole slew of people here. So folks, if you're watching this and you have the intention of being here, guess what? You get to be part of the Comic Hero Show. Alright, well, I'm Victor Nunley. I'm the Comic Hero. I'm about to go pay for these books. I'll see you next week. Till then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero. Nova number 29. Now this is the first issue after the Black Vortex story arc, which I still haven't gotten started with. And I'm sorry, folks, but when you're a person like me, you have a whole bunch of responsibilities, whether it be work, whether it be this web series, whether it be reading comics, whether it be making shirts for other folks. Although I don't mind any of those things at all. But I'll keep you posted as soon as I get started reading all the books that are part of the Black Vortex. And then also, speaking of the Black Vortex, up next is Legendary Star-Lord number 11. This is chapter 12 of the Black Vortex story arc that's going on in some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, Nova, and all new X-Men related books. And I still don't know, and I can't tell you what's going on in here. But what I can tell you is that this is Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill's solo book. And Sam Humphries and Paco Medina have done, well, especially Sam Humphries has done a great job writing this book. I can't wait to finally get started with Black Vortex. I mean, right now, I'm still trying to get caught up with New Avengers and I'm still trying to get caught up with. Dang it. Oh, and Convergence. I just read Convergence number 1, and remember I was talking about Convergence number 0 last week? Well, in this one, in Convergence, I found out that the character who at first are all these versions of Brainiac calls himself Telos. And what he does in number 1, he pretty much tells everyone, okay, this is a fight